there, and welcome to Diabetes 2 and You. I'm Kathy, a registered dietitian, and today I'll be talking about carbohydrates and trying to simplify the process of carbohydrate counting. It's actually perfect timing because my mom, who has type 2 diabetes, is coming to dinner tonight. So I have to cook a carb-conscious meal. It's not hard to do, but it does take a little planning and know-how. I'm going to go ahead and put my groceries away, and I'll meet you in the kitchen. Carbohydrates come in many different types of foods, including breads, cereals, grains, fruits, vegetables, and milk. In carbohydrate counting, when we say 1 serving of carbohydrate, we mean 15 grams of carbohydrate. The carbohydrate quantity does vary from product to product and from size to size. A great way to check the carb content is to read food labels. This will give you an even better idea of the total content in the item you're eating, but just be sure you're checking the portion size as well. Let's look at a few examples of the foods I have laid out here. The first group of carbohydrates I'm going to talk about are the starches. In this group, 1 serving of carbohydrate is equivalent to 15 grams of carbs. There are many types of foods in this group, including cereals, pasta, rice, beans and lentils, starchy vegetables, potatoes, and breads. The serving size is very important in this group and varies from different types of foods. Cereal, 3/4 of a cup of unsweetened commercial cereal would be equivalent to 1 carbohydrate serving. For rice and pasta, 1/3 of a cup equals 1 carbohydrate serving. For beans and lentils, 1/2 cup is equivalent to 1 carbohydrate serving. For starchy vegetables, 1/2 of a cup would be equivalent to 1 carbohydrate serving. Breads vary in type and size. This particular bagel is equivalent to 3 carbohydrate servings. This bagel is equivalent to 1 carbohydrate serving. In breads, we also have different sizes. This slice of bread is 1 carbohydrate serving. These two together are equivalent to 1 carbohydrate serving. One easy way to measure this is 1 ounce of bread would be equivalent to 1 carbohydrate serving. A 6-inch tortilla is 1 carbohydrate serving. And for potatoes, you're actually going to need to weigh this. 3 ounces of potato would be equivalent to 1 carbohydrate serving. This is just slightly larger than a golf ball. I've measured this potato. The next group of carbohydrates we're going to talk about are fruits. 1 serving of carbohydrate is equivalent to 15 grams of carbs. To give some examples of serving sizes, 17 grapes is equivalent to 1 carbohydrate serving. 1/2 cup of unsweetened applesauce is equivalent to 1 serving of carbohydrate. 1/2 cup of orange juice, grapefruit juice, would be equivalent to 1 serving of carbohydrate. Apples and pears come in all different sizes, so it's going to be important to weigh these. 4 ounces of apple or pear are going to be equivalent to 1 carbohydrate serving. A few other fruits that fall into this group, berries, cherries, blueberries, vary in size and proportions. 3/4 of a cup of blueberries is going to be equivalent to 1 carbohydrate serving. 1/2 cup of cherries is equivalent to 1 carbohydrate serving. And for strawberries, 1.5 cups of whole berries is equivalent to 1 carbohydrate serving. The next carbohydrate group I'm going to talk about are vegetables. Vegetables are slightly different than fruits or starches. They have only 5 grams of carbohydrate per serving. A serving size for non-starchy vegetables is 1/2 cup cooked, or 1 cup raw. So here I have 1 cup raw broccoli, 1 cup of raw tomatoes, 1/2 cup of cooked carrots, and 1/2 cup of cooked spinach is equivalent to 5 grams of carbs. The last group we're going to look at is the milk group. Here, 1 serving is equivalent to 12 grams of carbohydrate. Some example of serving sizes: 1 cup of milk or 8 ounces of plain yogurt. And always be on the lookout for low-fat or fat-free choices when possible. Aside from knowing the carb content of various foods, you also need to have a daily carbohydrate meal plan. This plan should be put together by you and your dietitian and will help you know how many carbs you should eat at each meal. If you have a plan that says you should eat 3 servings of carbs at lunch, it means 45 grams of carbohydrate. So the basic premise in carb counting is to count the amount of carbs you're eating. Sounds easy, right? Well, it does take some time and practice, so don't get discouraged. Let's look at the dinner I'm putting together tonight and apply some of the information we've learned so far. Tonight's menu includes sautéed chicken with vegetables and pasta, and for dessert we're going to have a sugar-free dark chocolate mousse with some fresh strawberries. I know my mom's carb breakdown for dinner should be 5 servings of carbs or 75 grams. Let's see how the dinner plates up. If I've done my math right, I think we get 75 grams of carbohydrate. So here's a couple tips. Keep in mind that portion size is very important. Think about investing in a simple scale and keep your measuring cups nearby. When possible, read labels to get the exact carbohydrate content. Think about keeping a chalkboard or a dry erase board or even a notebook nearby in the kitchen to help you keep track of your total carbs per meal and day. And remember, you're not in this alone. There are lots of great resources available to help you with carbohydrate counting. The American Diabetes Association and the American Dietetic Association offer information on their websites and materials you can purchase to help you manage the process. So what have we learned? Carb counting is a great way for someone with type 2 diabetes to manage blood glucose. Carbohydrates come in many types of foods, and the content varies from food to food. So check portion size and be sure to read food labels. It's important to add up the total carbs at meals and balance it against your personal plan. With a little planning and know-how, carb counting can equal good blood glucose control and ultimately help you successfully manage your diabetes. Well, that's all we have time for today. I have to get ready for dinner, and you have some carb counting to do.